Hello everyone, and let's start this lecture. In this particular lecture, we will be learning about how we solve certain questions, and these questions are going to be important and will give you some idea to solve this. For instance, this first example that we are considering, it will help you to understand how to use a person when he is climbing or sliding down on a rope, and also it will be using the concept of relative motion. So you can read it quickly. It says a block A of mass m by 2, which is here, and it is connected with this. And another side, there is a person of mass m who is climbing over this, and the person is moving or climbing up with relative acceleration, which is g by 6, and that is with respect to rope. So this is a rope on which it is. This person is rising up or climbing up. We need to find the acceleration of block, and we need to find the tension in the string. Two things we need to find out. Now, what is the difference between the block and there is a big difference. The difference is that block keeps fixed at a particular location, and where person can change the location. When the person is climbing, it will be catching the rope at a different location over the different time, right? So that's a difference. But if we can draw the free body diagram for anybody, and we can write the equation that will work. So what we are going to proceed with, or how we are going to proceed with, we can think of, let's say this A block moves downwards. So it might go upward, it might go downwards. So depending upon the situation. So let's consider this is moving downwards. It doesn't matter in which direction you are considering. Later on you can correct it. So let's just going downside with acceleration a1. So this a1 is the acceleration of block with respect to ground. Let's say this man is rising up with acceleration a2 with respect to ground. So solution. We will start like this. Let man climbs up with acceleration a2 with respect to ground. So we are working from the ground frame of reference, and then we will use the given information of g by 6, which is with respect to rho. So now you can quickly draw the free body diagrams. So for person, how it's going to look like. So if we draw the free body diagram for person, you will find this person is going to subjected with mg force downside. Its mass is m, g is g, and this person will be holding the rope, isn't it? And this person is going to pull the rope downside. So rope is going to be pull this person upside. So rope will apply a tension in the person upward direction. It is similar like the rope applies a tension on the object or block. So on the person, it's also going to pull in the upward direction. So this person will have a tension upside, mg downside. And we have assumed its acceleration a2 upside, so this is a2 upside. So you'll find a Newton equation for this, and that Newton equation is going to be T minus mg. Since a2 is upside, so I'm writing T minus mg. You can think of, right, is equal to ma2. That is for man or for the person who is climbing up. Similarly, we can go for the free body diagram for this block. We draw the free body diagram of this block, so you will find the same string is connected, so same tension will be pulling upside. It will have a gravitational force downside, which is going to be m by 2 into g, mass of the block into g, and we have assumed it to be moving downwards with acceleration a1, so this will have acceleration a1 downside. Its Newton equation will be mg by 2 minus t, the net force downside, because a1 is a downside, is equal to mass of the block, which is m by 2, into acceleration, which is a1. So you'll find two equations. You can call it equation number 1. If you want, you can call it equation number 2. Now solving is going to be a bit challenging now as of now, because there is 3 variable t, a1, a2. So we need to get one more relation between a1 and a2. Right. Now here the constant relation is, but that cannot be calculated by using summation t. Why? Because this person can do work, right? So from using internal energy, this person can accelerate by its own, unlike in the case of blocks, right? So this is not going to be applicable. So what we are going to do is we are going to use this equation or this information that is given to us, that is relative acceleration is g by 6. So we know this point, that how to get the relative acceleration. You know, you will write acceleration of man with respect to rope is going to be equal to acceleration of man minus acceleration of rope. And what we have been given is the acceleration of man with respect to rope. So this has been given to us. And man acceleration, rope acceleration, we have assumed. So this will give us a relation between A1 and A2. Now here we need to be a bit careful. This we are applying for this combination or for this interaction. So you need to see this is a rope and this is a person that is holding the rope. Okay. So the point where this interaction is taking place, that's going to matter. So this is a rope, and you will find if we have assumed this point to be moving downside, so that means this rope will go downside. So this rope will go up, and the rope will have the same acceleration as per summation t dot a. That if it is moving downside with certain velocity or acceleration, this point moves upward with the same acceleration as far as the magnitude is concerned. And this is because the string is inextensible. So we will say that this rope will be moving this upward, because this we considered downward, so this will be moving upward, and this will be the same acceleration a1. So this is the acceleration of rope. And what is the acceleration of man? We have assumed acceleration of man a2, it upward, so that means this man moves upward direction with acceleration a2. These are the with respect to ground, and it has been given that g by 6 is with respect to rope, and it's moving up. So that means every vector is upward direction. So you will write this is going to be upward direction is equal to a of man, which we have assumed to be a2 in the upward direction, a of rope, which is came out to be a1 in the upward direction. Find it. Rope's acceleration of that point where the man is in contact, not of other points, right? Because rope can change its orientation or shape, so direction changes. So we need to focus only at that point where the person is holding it. Now your j cap is getting cancelled out, or you can say the coefficients are going to be equal. So from here we will get another equation called a2 minus a1 is equal to g by 6. That will become your third equation. Can you solve equation number 1, 2 and 3 to get your answers? You can definitely solve, right? So how to solve it? You can add these two equations, first and 2, find relation between a1 and a2, and then solve for a1, solve for a2, solve for t. And what we need to find? Acceleration of block, that means we need to find a1 as well as tension, that is t. So a1 and t has to be calculated. So if you solve equation 1, 2 and 3 together, that you can do easily. What you do, add first and second, then use the third one. You will find a1 is equal to this, a2 is equal to this. I'm writing you directly solution. You can check your solution or answer. So how to interpret then? Like a1 is coming as minus 4g by 9. Minus 4g by 9. This minus sign will say the direction of a1 that we have opted has to be reversed. So finally we will say this block A is going to move. A is going to move in the upward direction with acceleration 4g by 9. Sign will change the direction that we have taken into consideration initially, right? So we will say this acceleration, and how much the tension in the rope is going to be. It's going to be 13 mg by 18. These many Newton will be the tension on the string. This is how you can handle the questions related to the person. You treat a person just like an object, apply the forces whatever it is having, and if there's a relative acceleration, be careful, use the relative concept of writing the accelerations, just you have for velocities. Okay, so that was an important question for you. Let's take another example, and here again a person and a system is shown in the figure. So it says that there's a printer, you can read the question. So this person wants to go up, so there is a person and there is an arrangement, and this person by using his own force rises up. what we need to do is we need to find the maximum acceleration of the painter. And we have been given that the string or the rope that has been given, the rope B that is upside B, that this can withstand a maximum 300 Newton force. So this can withstand maximum 300 Newton force. So when the person will be moving with maximum acceleration, then we need to see whether this is getting the maximum acceleration, and then if that is the case, then we can use that maximum tension as 300. Okay. So you will find that when this person is climbing up, or this whole system, so the person need to pull the string downside. So he will be pulling the string downside. But you'll find if you see this as your system, this as your system. So this entire mass will be moving upside. So that considering this as a system, and we are drawing the free body diagram. So let's draw the free body diagram of the system that we can see, or that this system that I have indicated. In that system, you will find, if you consider these are your boundaries of the system, anything inside this boundary is going to behave like a part of the system. So you'll find in the free body diagram, you can think of that boundaries or system. In that system, any force which is coming from outside has to be applied. So you find this string will become outside, this string will become outside, so both will be pulling it up. So let's say this is being pulled by tension T. You'll find the same string wraps over the pulley, so you'll find that T will be also coming from this as external force. And this entire stuff is going to be inside, and there will be internal force. One extra force will be there, that is gravity, which is external force. And the gravitational force is how much? The total weight is 200 newtons. So you write it as a 200 newton. Now this entire stuff will be moving upside because this person is x. So in normal condition, you will find this is going to be the equation for the system, and this will be FBD. So equation can be written as total force upside is going to be T plus T, that is 2T. Total force downside is 200, so 2T minus 200. This must be equal to mass into acceleration. How much the mass is going to be? This weight is 200, so if you divide by 10, that is G, so it becomes 20. So you write it as 20 into A. So from here you will find that this is going to be the relation or the equation. Now if you know A, you can find T. If you know T, you can find A. So that's what the relation says. But what is given to us, that the maximum tension on this string, and what we need to find maximum acceleration. So from here it's clear, if you want A to be max, of course this must be maximum. Can you see this from the simple equation? If you can catch it, then it's done. Now on B string, let's come on the B string. If we have considered T tension here, there's going to be 2T tension on there. And 2T is the tension of the B string. And its maximum value that it can withstand, this value is given to us as a 300 Newton. We can place this value over here, and from here we can calculate the value of A max. That will become your final answer. So this will be 300 minus 200 is equal to 20 into A max, making the entire system together. So from here A max will be equal to, you can calculate, this is 100 and this is 20, so 100 by 20, that's 5 meter per second square. That's your answer. Okay. Now let's consider this another question. In this question, we'll be learning about spring and string connection together. So you got to know what the spring force is, tension force is. Now it's going to be application of it. That means they have the same spring constant. Attached to the different weights as shown in the figure. X1, X2 are these are constant extensions. Constant extensions means maximum extension that has to be taken place, that has to be there, has taken place, right? And we need to find the ratios of these extensions. So what to do is, since this is spring, let's consider any spring, then you'll find that a spring, whatever the tension has to come, or whatever the extension has to come, it has come there. Let's say it got extension x1, right? So, and this string will have a tension, let's say T1. So you will find this T1 is going to be equal to kx1. That's what I'm going to say, trying to say. And because this is because, you know, like this has to be pulled by same force, this has to be pulled by same force. So upside is going to be tension T1, And in fact, you'll find this string, the smaller part will also have the tension T1, because for a spring, since it's massless, both sides must be pulled by the same force. And that will become here. So wherever you find the string, if it is at a constant extension, then you can say T1 is equal to Kx1. In fact, if it is not at a constant extension, at any instant, you can say T1 is equal to Kx1. That means this force must be the spring force. Since it is at final or constant extension, so we will find T1 will be finally constant and settle down. Right? So you can think of this is going kind of, it's behaving like a rope. That's all, and its tension is Kx1. Now this is kind of Atwood machine, so you can solve this directly. We know the formula for calculating the tension in any Atwood machine. Tension comes out to be formula 2 m1 m2 g divided by m1 plus m2. Now you have been given m1 m2 for all the cases, and then what you need to do, you need to equate them like kx1, kx2, kx3. So from here, if you write T2 is going to be K times X2. Why the K? Because the same spring. And here you'll find T3, which is going to be K times X3. Now you can find X1 is to X2 is to X3. So you'll find X1 is to X2 is to X3. That is the ratio of their elongations or extensions is basically is going to be the ratio of their tensions. And you can easily find the tensions using this formula and put it, then you can check your answer, right? So finally your answer should come as this 15 is to 18 is to 10, and that easily can be checked. So do that. Now let's consider the next problem. In this problem you will be learning how to solve those questions in which some string or spring are cut. If there's a system given to us and something is cut, broken, so what happens then after? So this example will help you to learn that point. So let's read it. It says a system shown in the adjacent is in equilibrium. So that means all forces are balanced in all the bodies, and we need to find in C all of equal mass. Every block has a same mass m. At instant when following thing is done, like A option, A part, B part, C part. In A part it says spring between ceiling and A is cut, then similarly other part will be there. So I'm going to give you idea that's most important. First of all, use this condition of equilibrium. So let's draw the free body diagrams of this A. If you watch this A, you'll find there's going to be a spring force acting upside. Let's call that a spring force as F1. And there is going to be tension acting downside. Let's call this a tension. There is going to be another force called mg acting downside. So this will be the condition for A at equilibrium condition. Can you think of? Sure. Similarly, what about B? If you look at B, you'll find this B will be pulled by same tension T, and there is going to be mg force downside because mg mass elongated, of course, so it will be pulling it downside with spring force F2. So F2 is the spring force of the downside one. Similarly, we can write or draw the free body diagram for C. C will be pulled upside by force F2, and there is going to be mg acting downside. So these are the free body diagrams, and which you can draw at the instant or the condition when there was equilibrium. We can also use this equilibrium condition. So there will be certain equation that you can write for block A, for block B, for block C. So let me write over here. Let's say this F2 for C I'm writing. Can we say F2 is equal to mg? Yes. Because this F2 is balancing mg. Then let's write about B. For B you are going to get as a T is equal to F2 plus mg plus F2. Now if you put the value of F2, so it will become twice mg. And for A you will find it's going to be F1 is equal to T plus mg. Now T is 2 mg, so it will become 3 mg. So at equilibrium condition, you know tensions and spring forces and everything that can be solved. Now when we talk about this first part of this question, then you'll find if this is being cut, then you'll find the force F1 will become immediately 0. So if force F1 becomes immediately 0, we can draw the free body diagram again and we can solve them, right? So what is going to happen with this A? So you'll find A will be appearing like this. It will be having mg acceleration, mg force downside. What about this tension? Now this tension will reduce. Definitely, it might reduce, or in fact you can say it might become 0. So there can be n cases, right? So what we need to do, we can think of this tension gets changed, and let's say no tension that is coming is T dash, and that's why it's asking also find the tension in the string in all cases, right? So let's say the tension that is going to be, if at all it is going to be there, it's going to be downside, and it's, let's say, T dash. So this will be the force for A, or FBD for A. So equation, let's say this is moving downside with acceleration AA. If you do this, then you can write the equation for this particular FBD A block. This is the block A for which the free body is drawn. So equation is plus mg is equal to MAA. This is how the acceleration of A can be thought about. What about B? What happens to B? So let's draw the, for B case, B block. This is for A block. In B block, you will find this is going to be T dash because same tension has to be there, and there is going to be mg, and there is going to be F2. Now, point that has to be taken care of here is as long as there is a tension and this thing. So since we need to find everything just after the cut, then you'll find this spring will not undergo any change in its length then after. That means whatever the elongation was, that will remain there, because for elongation to change, it takes certain time, because first acceleration comes, then velocity, then displacement, then the elongation or compression changes. So the spring force F2 will remain as it was, but this tension might have changed, so we are considering it as T dash. And this might start moving downward with acceleration AB, so we can solve for this AB. So total force downside is going to be F2 plus mg. So you're going to write it as F2 plus mg minus T dash is equal to MAB. Now F2 we have already know this is mg, so you can further simplify it. After further simplification, it is going to be mg plus mg, that is twice mg minus T dash is equal to MAB. Every block has the same mass m, so that's why we are writing so. Okay, moreover, if they are moving, since this is a string, so they will be having a constant relation. That means AA and AB has to be equal. So we can use that AA and AB to be equal to solve these two equations together. From there we can find T dash as well as A and AB. Third equation for this is going to be AA is equal to AB. This is from the constant. So let's solve it quickly. So if you add them together, then you get 2 mg, and it's going to be mg, that is 3 mg. So you will find it as a 3 mg. I'm solving over here in short. 3 mg is equal to MAA plus MAB, that is twice MAA. Let's say I'm writing in terms of AA using the third as well. So from here you will find acceleration of A is going to be 3g by 2, and this is also going to be the acceleration of block B. So both will be moving downwards with acceleration 3g by 2, right? And now you can put the value of AA back on this, then you can find the value of T dash as well. So what the T dash is going to be, you will find that T dash, the tension is going to be M into AA with 3g by 2 minus mg. So what the T dash is, it's simply mg by 2. That means tension, the string now became mg by 2, which earlier used to be 2 mg. Can you think of what I'm doing? If you can think of, then it's okay. We can go for the C block. Now draw the C block separately and in a new condition. In new condition, you'll find it's going to have F2 force upside. This F2 has not changed. Mg force downside. This Mg has not changed. So nothing has changed. So this acceleration of C will be 0 because it is in equilibrium. Still, it is in equilibrium just after cutting the string. So we need to find that instant after cutting this, you will find C will be remain there at equilibrium, and that means you can say C will have no acceleration just after, B will have acceleration downside, A will have acceleration downside, and their values are 3g by 2, 3g by 2 for each, and tension you have also calculated. Now, similarly, can you try for the question B or part B and part C? Now what to do in case of part B when you cut this string? When you cut this string, then this tension becomes 0. And you will find when this tension becomes 0, this spring force will not change suddenly. That means spring force does not change abruptly. So this will remain F1 as such. And similarly, this F2 will not change. So that will remain as such. You can draw new FBDs and you can find accelerations and everything. Similarly, C part, spring between B and C is cut, so that's just like upside we cut. You calculated a for the rest, now you cut this, make this F to 0, then write for all of it. Okay. I'm providing you answer, then you can check the answers. We have solved part A, and answer for part B and part C is mentioned over here. Now you can check your answer after solving, and if you got it, that means you have understood it. Otherwise, you rewatch it, then you solve it. Based on the concept that you learned just before, this is a question that has come in JEE 2006. So this you need to try, of course, since it's based on the same logic. So solve it, the answer in the comment section below. Okay. Okay. Now let's consider an example related to friction. This is again going to be an important example for you. It says a body of mass m raised on a horizontal floor with coefficient of friction is given, that's mu, and it is desired to make the body move by applying a minimum force. You want to apply a minimum force on this. So find the expression for this force is. There were 4 options. So we are just trying to find what the expression is going to be. So how you can start it, since it's asking minimum force, right? So it's not asking about the minimum horizontal force. So what do we need to do? We need to say if we want to move, so minimum force is going to apply at certain angle, or you need to apply the force at certain angle. And let's say that angle is theta. Now to move, the minimum force will be coming at certain angle theta, and we will find what that theta is going to be. That's why we also say that pulling is easier, because by pulling we can apply a minimum force to pull it, and that's what is that minimum force we are trying to find in this particular case. So what we can do now is this: we need to make the component of this force, or free body diagram you can say. So we are trying to draw free body diagram. So first let's make these components: perpendicular force and horizontal force. So this will become F cos theta. I'm drawing the FBD in the same figure, and that's going to be F sin theta. Theta is the angle we have opted, and there's going to be mg force acting down direction working upward. This is on the block, and there's going to be tendency for forward or sliding, so it's going to be friction. And since you just want to move it, so it's as to friction at its maximum value for moving it, right? And since it's a just moving condition, then you can write the equation that the forces are just balanced. So in solution you will write some sort of this: in horizontal direction forces are just balanced, that means F cos theta is equal to the limiting friction, which is F as maximum value, which later on can be written as mu into normal reaction, right? And in the vertical direction, of course, in equilibrium will be in the vertical direction, so vertical equation will be F sin theta plus nr. These are the forces in the upside direction. They together will be equal to mg. Now from this equation we can find the normal reaction. Normal reaction is going to be equal to mg minus f sine theta. Can you think of? Of course. And now you can use these two equations. That means put the normal relation in the first expression. So we will get, after solving this, f cos theta plus, or this is equal to mu into normal reaction, which is mg minus f sine theta. Think of? Sure. Now then what we need to do is collect this f together. If we collect this f together, you'll find f in bracket is going to be cos theta, plus from this side you will find it's going to be mu sine theta. This will be equal to mu mg. Right, so from here you can find the value of f is going to be equal to mu mg divided by you will find it as mu sine theta plus cos theta. Now here theta we have opted as a variable, and we want this f to be minimum, overall minimum. So that means we would like to have this denominator maximum. And we know how to get this f minimum by doing this denominator maximum. And that value you can find out. This is like a sine theta plus b cos theta. So maximum value, you know, it is under root a square plus b square. So f minimum answer will be mu mg divided by under root a square plus b square. B is 1, so 1. So that will become the final answer for minimum force to move this body. You can copy that. Now let's consider another important example. That says find the minimum value of f. So this is a block. This is being applied a force in this manner, which is along the inclined plane in upward direction. And we need to find the minimum and maximum value of this force so that this block does not move. And given that theta is greater than tan inverse mu. So if you talk about the just limiting condition or just sliding condition, so for just case, that means if there is no force acting, and then this we talk about this block's just sliding case. So or let me write directly, we call it as a critical angle. So there's a formula tan theta c, that's called critical angle, is equal to mu. So theta c is basically tan inverse mu. That means this talks about in case if you place a block, whether this will slide down or not, this can be observed by using critical angle. Here it says this is the case, that means the theta that you are opting is greater than theta c. That means if you release a block without applying a force, it will slide downside. So you need to apply a force to prevent it slide downside. First case. So at that case, whatever the force will require, that will be the minimum force you need to apply. Then after you can increase this force. If you keep on increasing this force, then after certain time it will be ready to slide in upward direction. When it is ready to slide in upward direction, that condition will give you the maximum force that can be applied so that it is not sliding or it reaches to the sliding condition. So these two minimum and maximum conditions can be calculated. So how to calculate F min? Let me draw the free body diagram for F min calculation. Minimum force. You need to draw the free body diagram, and that free body diagram will be like this. And in this you will have forces that you already know, like forces of gravity, one component along the inclined plane, another component perpendicular to the inclined plane. This is going to be mg, this is going to be mg sine theta. So we have a of gravity directly. Moreover, the force that you are applying, this force F which is being applied, and there's going to be normal reaction acting. Now in this case, when you're applying a minimum force, then you'll find the object is just about to slide down. So since object is just about to slide down, so friction will be acting in the upward direction, and this will be acting it's at limiting value, right? So at limiting value, F has to act, and nothing is moving because you don't want it to move. So we can write it as F plus F limiting value must be equal to mg sine theta. And as far as nr is concerned, nr is going to be mg cos theta. So from here you can find this f value. This f is going to be minimum value. It's going to be mg sine theta minus limiting friction. Limiting friction is mu into normal relation, which is mg cos theta. So we can write this minimum force needed to prevent the sliding of the block is going to be equal to, you can take one, and it will be sine minus mu cos theta. Got to know? So this is how you can find the minimum force required to prevent the sliding or prevent the block to move. Similarly, we can also work for the maximum force that you need to keep the block stationary. Again, draw the free body diagram. When you draw the free body diagram, then you need to draw all the forces as we have just drawn over here. Mg does not depend whether it's move upside or downside, so it will have these two components, mg cos theta and mg sin theta. Now the force that you are applying, we need to find this force, so this force now will be called as a maximum, so we are applying this maximum force F, and there's going to be normal reaction acting. But you know this friction is a reactionary force, right? It depends where the tendency is. Now when you're applying the maximum force, the tendency to move this block is going to be in the upward direction, because you are applying more and more force, more force. So if you apply the maximum value, so then the block will start or about to start in moving in the upward direction. So friction has to come in the backward direction, and for this maximum, friction will be in limiting condition. So we can write this is FBD and this is just at equilibrium. So we can apply the equation for just equilibrium, and now condition will be like F is going to be equal to mg sine theta plus limiting friction. And limiting friction will be mu into normal reaction, so it's mu mg cos theta. And you can take this mg common. So the maximum value of the force that you need that you can apply is mg in bracket sine theta plus mu cos theta. So expression is exactly similar. The only thing is as this minus has been replaced by plus. So this is the minimum force required to prevent sliding. This is the maximum force that you can apply so that there is no sliding. And this is the case when the theta was greater than critical angle. Now if theta was less than critical angle, then the minimum force will become 0, because if you apply 0 force, still it will remain stationary, it will not slide down. So and the maximum force will be this in either of the case. That means this will be for all values of theta, right? And whereas this is going to be for those values of theta which is greater than critical angle. Otherwise this will become 0. Why 0? The angle is less than the critical angle. It will be automatically at rest. That means it will not slide down. So no force needed minimum to push it up. Okay. So this is also a question that has come into the examination. So you can remember or understand what the idea is going here. Now let's consider one example in which a string has mass. Now we have considered the cases when a string is massless. So mass, so we need to consider that mass as well. And whenever there is a string with mass, then you'll find the tension at all the points will not be equal. So that point, the tension at all point of a string is same. It is because of the condition that we use. It is massless. So tension, if it is being asked, it will be asked at a different location. So just like here, it says find the tension at the top point of the string, then bottom point, midpoint, or certain point. We can find it out. How we can find it out? This example will help you to understand that thing. So let's say this is the arrangement that has been given to us, and it is pulled by 200 Newton. These are the blocks. 2 kg is the mass of the string. That's a string, and the mass of the string has been given as a 2 kg. And 2 kg and 4 kg, they are the blocks. They are moving up. So we can say like this entire system is going to move up with acceleration a. So we can say this is our system, and we can write the equation for Newton for this particular system or arrangement. If we do so for this entire system, then you can find what the acceleration is going to be, right? And how the equation will be, upside force is 200 Newton minus, because this is going to experience a force downside equal to the weight. And how much the weight is going to be? 2 plus 2, 4 plus 4, 8. That is 80 Newton. I'm writing directly, you can catch it. This is equal to 8 into 8, total mass into acceleration. From here you can find what the acceleration is. This acceleration can be found out as like 120 divided by 8. You can simplify it to the extent you can. So let's say you are dividing with this 4, so it's going to be 30, or you can directly let 15 meter per second square. That becomes the acceleration of the entire system. They are moving together, right? Now we need to find the tension at the highest point of this. So what not to be done, we need to choose a free system which this tension, this string's topmost point comes into the play. So what you can do, you can choose this upside portion, or you can draw the free body diagram of the downside portion. From both you will get your answer coming. Since easier is going to be to draw the upside, so we will try to use the easier part, or you can draw any of them, it will give you the answer. So this is going to be 2 kg block that we are drawing the free body diagram of, and this is being pulled by a force called 200 newtons. We will apply the force whatever acting on this, and then its own weight will be acting downside, and that own weight is going to be 20 newton. And then the string tension at that point, let's call tension as T1. We can find this T1 downside, and this must be moving with the same acceleration a as the system was moving, because it's a part of system. Now apply the Newton equation and you will find it's going to be 200 minus 20 minus T1 is equal to m, which is 2a, which is given to us. A is 15. I'm writing directly. Total force upward is equal to ma for this block. This will give you the value of T1. So is this T1 coming as, you can rewrite it as T1 is equal to 180, and then this will become 30. So this will become 150 Newton. 150 Newton will be the tension acting at this topmost point. Let's say now it talks about the midpoint, or maybe the bottom point, or at any point. So you can find the answer accordingly. Let me solve for the midpoint at mid of string. If it is acting for, if we are interested for mid of string, so you need to cut that string from that mid and draw the free body diagram either of the downside portion or of the upside portion. That will be valid, right? And that will give you answer. So let's say that is downside, and this time I'm drawing downside one, and half of this string. This is half of this string, right? So that it comes as a midpoint. Now what the forces are going to act at this become now external point. So you'll find external point will have a tension. Let's call this tension T2. So this beyond this point, it is being pulled by tension T2. Here this to do with, right? Because this 200 was for upside block, right? So and then you need to see how much the mass you are having. This is a 4 kg, and this string is half you have cut. It's uniform, so it's going to be 1 kg. So according to length, we can divide the mass, and this must be moving in the upward direction with x. So the total weight downside is going to be 1 plus 4, that is 50 Newton. Okay, 5 into g. So I'm writing 50 directly. Equation of Newton will become T2 is T2 minus 50 must be equal to m, which is 5, into a, which we have already calculated, 15. So this T2 comes out to be this 75, and plus to a number you can find as 125, right? 25 Newton. So at midpoint you will find the tension is going to be 125. And you can also check these two values by drawing the other part of the free body diagram or system. Then you can get the same answer coming back. Now you can see at the topmost point the tension was 150 Newton. As you are coming downside, the tension is decreasing. And if somebody asks what is the minimum tension, then you'll find the minimum tension is going to be at the bottom. Maximum is going to be at the top. It will be decreasing from top to bottom, and you can calculate at any point. Making sense? So this is a question related to the case when the string carries a mass. So whenever the string carries mass, you just treat it as a mass and draw the free body diagram, and you can solve that. Now let me give you the solution for the homework problem that I have given you in the last video lecture. And it says this is the situation and this m falls freely. So this falls freely, that means this falls freely with respect to ground, right? So falls freely means you draw the free body diagram with respect to ground, and if you draw the free body diagram you will find that no other force will be acting apart from the gravity. So that means it will be moving downside with acceleration gravity. This is moving downside with acceleration gravity. We need to find what acceleration of this wedge has to be. So we can use the constraint relation, and it is asking for the minimum value, that means at least value of A. Beyond that you will find the contact will be detached. Right. So this is here we can use the constraint motion or constraint relation. And as per the constraint relation, this is going to be the common contact surface. So relative acceleration for this direction must be 0. Perpendicular direction must be 0, right? So let's draw this. Let's say this is the part of the wedge. And if we consider any point of the part of the wedge on the wedge, so this will be having acceleration A in this direction. What we can do, we can make the component of this acceleration 1 perpendicular to this inclined plane and along the inclined plane, right? So you can have one component acting in this direction, another component of acceleration acting in this direction. This is given as A, and you will find that this angle is going to be theta. So this component will become A cos theta, and this component will become A sin theta at the point of contact we are drawing. Now come to this block. If we use this block and try to draw the free body, this acceleration for this, so this block is going to move downwards with acceleration g. That's what it says. So it's moving downward with acceleration g, and so does the contact point will be moving downward with acceleration g. All the accelerations are with respect to ground. So we can make the two component of g, one along the inclined plane, another perpendicular to the inclined plane. And we have understood in case of inclined plane, along the inclined plane is g sin theta, right? So this will be the component which is going to be perpendicular, and this is going to be along the inclined plane. So this will become g sin theta, and this will become g cos theta. Now you can say the relative acceleration has to be 0. That means acceleration along the perpendicular direction has to be, or common normal has to be equal. So A sin theta is equal to G. So this becomes A is equal to G upon sin theta and into cos theta. And you know this number, A is equal to G cot. So which option is going to be correct? You can see C option, which is correct. Well, so that was the solution for the last question or last video's question. So in this particular recorded lecture, you have learned about few questions, practice. You have done this, and this will be helpful for you definitely. So that's all for this video. Thank you everyone. Have a great time.